Hey guys, so I'm going to do a quick video on how to get through a language class in college. I took in high school I took Spanish in 10th grade and French in 12th grade. Then as a sophomore in college I took French 1 and 2, and then as a junior I took French 3. So, I'm going to talk about, in my college, our language classes are done 100% in that foreign language. So, obviously in French 1, they can't do it 100% in language because you don't know the language or any of it. So, they'll try to do as much as they can in that foreign language, and then for me, by French 2, which is just a semester later, she only spoke in French, unless maybe a couple times if we just didn't get it, but like a vast majority. And then French 3, she never spoke in English. No, unless we all gave her like deadpan stares, which happened. She would generally speak 100% French. The rule for the courses is all in the foreign language, so I only have tips for French, basically, or Romance languages, sort of. I don't really know about other alphabets like Chinese or Japanese or Russian, things like that. This is all the same letters, so no new alphabet learning. I don't have any tips on that. This is just kind of for Romance languages. So, I ended up doing fairly well. I got an A in French 1, or an A minus, and then B plus in French 2, and then a B minus in French 3. So yeah, it was hard, but here are my tips for you. So, for me, I would stress vocabulary. There's a lot of vocabulary. I mean, a lot. Here's my French book here. This is the book that encompassed all 3 classes. You did a third of the book in each course. And so, okay. This is sort of a short list of that's pretty small list. A couple times you would have 3 pages, maybe, yeah, about 3 is kind of an average. So, and that's for each chapter, that's for each test, so that all of that in a couple weeks, and you can be tested on all of it. So I would stress vocabulary. It's never stressed as much in the class, or it wasn't for me, but I found that was so important, because if you didn't, you could kind of fumble through the grammar, but if you didn't have the word for something, there's nothing you could do, so vocabulary, just go over it and over it and over and over it. Flashcards, whatever. Yeah, flashcards are good, actually. I would just stress memorizing vocabulary words as number 1. Number 2, obviously you have to learn the grammar, structure. That stuff, though, is not it didn't seem to me to be as difficult. Yes, it was somewhat difficult, but what's important, actually, is you have to know English grammar in order to study grammar of another language. So if you don't know, before you start on a foreign language, if you don't know English grammar, brush up on it. learn what all the terms are, because that's how they'll be explained to you in the other language. They'll say, okay, this is the direct object of this, and this is the pronoun of this, and whatever. That's how they'll explain it to you. And if you don't know those terms and what that means, then you're lost. And that's what happened to me. So you kind of have to know the terms and everything about English grammar, which, you don't deal with that except in like middle school. So review all those things before you get into the class. And then my tip number 3 would be for oral sections, like when you have to listen. I always just listened for keywords. In a sentence, if you read it, I would listen to for keywords. Like for our oral sections, it would just be like, listen to them talk and then tell us if this is true or false. And so I would listen for these words. And if it seemed like they were talking about these things, then I would put true or whatever. Obviously, you have to know what they're saying, because that can trick you if they're speaking negatively about something as not true. It can screw you up. And you hear the word and you think, oh, that must be true, but they're actually telling you it's not. But keywords is good when you're just listening. You're having to listen to somebody. Just listen for keywords to get the gist of what's going on. And then tip number 4 would have to be let's see. Vocabulary is really important. Grammar. Then when you're speaking, this is actually important. When you're speaking, don't stress over details. That was a problem that I had, and it would stumble me. So when you're speaking, try to just be fluid. Just kind of let things come out as they sort of come out. You'll make mistakes and you'll sound awkward, but teachers like that when you just kind of go with the flow, and more often than not you'll be closer to right than you think. So go with your instincts and just kind of let it flow. So to recap, vocabulary, review it a ton. Go over the grammar, but make sure you're familiar with the grammar and the rules and stuff, but don't stress so much, because you can get really stressed about it. And then learn the terms for grammar. That kind of goes with number 2. And then listen for keywords when you're listening, and then just let it flow when you're speaking. So that's my tips on how to get through a language course. Never had to speak in a native area or in general public, so these are not the same tips. That's a completely different scenario. So this is just for a class, a college course, to get through it. Programs for like listening programs, online programs, and Rosetta Stone and all that stuff are great if you can afford it. They really do work if you use them. You have to use them, obviously, but if you consistently use them, they really do help. So, okay, this video was supposed to be short, and now it's really long, so bye.